Hi, everyone, and welcome to Where's God podcast. In this podcast, we find God in movies, shows, songs, and places where He's not obviously found. And in this episode, we're finding God in the movie A Quiet Place Day One. And I thought this movie was really good. I have loved the other Quiet Place movies, and I thought this one was just as good. Even though I did miss some of the original cast, I really loved this one. And the previews for this movie, they make it seem like really horrifying and terrifying. But I would say the level of scary and suspense is just like the other Quiet Place movies, which is perfect for me because I'm not a scary movie person. And just like always, I will be giving spoilers to this movie, just so you know if you haven't seen it. Now, this movie is the origin story. That's why it's called Day One of how this series started. And it shows the first few days of when the aliens attack. And I am mostly going to be focusing on the cat. The cat is one of the main characters. The cat's name is Frodo. Now, this cat you either love throughout the movie, or there's times where you hate the cat throughout the movie. Like sitting by my friend, we were like, that stupid cat. And then at the end of the movie, another friend was like, I wanted to kill that cat. So you definitely like hate and love this cat. Frodo the cat is a service animal for another main character, Sam, who is dying of some sort of disease. So the cat is her main companion and comfort. You see her having the cat on a leash in the convenience store, riding on her lap on the bus as they drive into the city. And I can relate the cat with God, which I know sounds kind of silly, but there's a lot of instances where He's her comfort and her companion and her guide. And I'll give some examples of that. So when the aliens first attack, there's huge explosions and destruction and screaming, and the main character, Sam, she gets separated from her cat. And after hours go by, she's able to find safety, and she finds some people from her group. And one of the nurses, who's her friend, reunites her with her cat. So this is the first example of where I saw God. So if the cat represents God and comfort, peace, this moment shows that in times when we feel lost and scared, our friends can lead us back to God. Our friends can show us God's love and bring Him back into our lives when we feel scared and lost. I know my close friends always do a good job of reminding me that God loves me and He's there reaching out for me when I'm ready to ask for help. So in the movie, when the friend saw Sam, like, he didn't run to hug her. He literally ran to give her her cat, the thing he knew was most important to her and what would make her the happiest in that moment. So when our friends or our family are going through a hard time, we can share testimonies of Christ and God and show our love for them first and give them the support they need and are looking for, instead of maybe what we might think is best for them, or instead of us being selfish. We can listen for what they really need and offer God's love. Now, the nurse, who is Sam's friend, ends up dying early on in the movie. See, I told you I was going to spoil things. So the friend ends up dying, and you think, well, that's it. Sam's on her own to survive the world ending by herself. But then something interesting and kind of strange happens. This scene cuts to a man emerging out of the water that had risen up in the subway entrance, And he emerges out of the water and he's gasping for air, and you can tell he's just so panicked, doesn't know what to do. We have no idea who this man is. This is the first time we see him, but we know he must be important. And as he's panicking and trying to get his bearings, he looks up and he sees the cat. He sees Frodo. And you can tell in that moment that he's immediately calmed and kind of intrigued by the cat's presence. And he kind of recognizes that this cat is a sign of something significant. And he follows the cat and lets the cat lead him to Sam. And his uniting with Sam ends up helping both of them in life-changing ways. This is another example of how God works in our lives. Just like the cat leading Eric to Sam, God intervenes in our lives and leads us to our purpose if we trust and follow him. Sam and Eric both end up saving each other in different ways. And if Eric hadn't followed the cat, he might never have been saved and been able to save Sam. God will lead us to people who we can serve and help, and in return, we gain so much more from that experience of service. Just like the characters in the movie, both of their lives became so much more meaningful because they helped each other. And it all started with Eric following the cat and trusting that he was led to Sam for a reason and to stay by her side and help her. And I think we're always a lot happier after we help someone else, and it helps us remember our purpose here. And as mentioned earlier, Sam is dying, and she has these medication patches that she puts on her back, and she has to change them out every so often. Well, of course, because the world is ending and they've been invaded by aliens, she is out of patches, and she's quickly losing her strength during her fight for survival. And Eric asks what she needs, and he goes on a journey to find medicine, to locate a pharmacy to help her. And this is extremely brave of him, especially since this is just a day or two after the aliens have attacked and they still don't know exactly how to survive. And Eric is someone who really struggles with anxiety and becomes overwhelmed easily. So in the moment when he's like trying to find the medicine, trying to stay really quiet, he starts to lose it and panics. And he's worried that he's going to be heard and just starts to be consumed with fear. And then who appears? The cat, Frodo, and jumps into his arms. And he is immediately calmed down and smiles and is just relieved, and he's able to find the right medicine and leave. Relating this to God, he can bring peace in times of doubt, anxiety, when burdens seem too heavy to bear. He rescues us in the times when we need comfort the most. He will send us peace with a feeling, a friend, a song, a thought, and quiets our fears and gives us strength to carry on. Now, when he's trying to bring the medicine back, this is when you hate the cat and you think, that stupid cat. Because as he's going back and trying to be quiet and trying to get there in time to help Sam, the cat starts climbing up this hill of dirt and rocks. And you see Eric want to go and follow the cat to keep it safe. And in your head, you're like, hello, don't follow the cat. The cat will be fine. The cat will make it back. You just stay on your course. But of course, Eric follows the cat. And the cat eventually leads him up on these metal bars, having to balance on them, which were parts of a broken down bridge. And there's fires all around them and a colony of aliens. That's where the cat has led him, balancing on these metal bars high above the ground with aliens all around. and fires burning. Now, of course, they make it out alive, but you're like, dude, why did you follow the cat? And this reminded me that sometimes we can feel lost and we can get mad because we feel like God isn't answering our prayers and He's not guiding us when we ask for guidance, and we feel like we're not where we're supposed to be in life, we're not fulfilling our purpose or doing what we're meant to be doing. But I believe that if we're still following God's commandments and trying to be close to Him, even if it feels like we're lost, God is still helping us and teaching us. So in the movie, I think Eric, being someone with anxiety and being crippled by that, he learned to be braver and to do hard things in the moment when he was balancing on that metal bar, reaching for the cat. The moment taught him to be more selfless and think of the cat in the moment and not himself. And I think when we're in hard times and feel like God isn't helping us or we're not where we're supposed to be, we can look for lessons God is trying to teach us and who He's helping us become. In the movie, he was becoming more brave and having more courage and realizing there was something bigger than himself. And we can try to do that in our lives too. What's God teaching us? We might not feel like we're doing anything really important, or we might not feel like we're fulfilling this grand purpose, but each trial, each day can bring something that can teach us and help become who we're supposed to become. Now, final scene with the cat is the last place where I saw God. This is the big escape. Now, the aliens, they can't swim, and people have realized that, so they're trying to take ferries to an island, maybe Long Island or something like that, off of New York. And that's where Eric is trying to get to. He's trying to get to the boat that will take him to the island. And Eric literally has the cat strapped to his body as he leaves behind Sam, who has decided to stay behind to get to the ferry, the safe place. He narrowly escapes the reach of the aliens as he jumps off the bridge, and he swims to the boat with the cat wrapped to his chest. And once again, the cat gave him the strength to fight and run and brought him to safety. When we have God by our side and our foundation is on Jesus Christ, we will be saved and delivered from our trials and hardships. We can't be overtaken when we center our lives on Christ. And that's a promise that we've been given. And I thought this was a great movie. Even the relationship with Sam and Eric is just so sweet. You know, Sam was dying and she thought there was nothing else left in life for her, nothing else special or great. And Eric was able to show her that there was still light in the world and there was still hope for her to hold on to, even though she was dying. Their relationship is just so special, Sam and Eric. They really saved each other, and Eric helped Sam feel alive again, like I said, and loved. And I really loved finding these messages in the movie of hope, of love, of deliverance, of being saved, of trusting God. And I hope that you can find God in your story and find ways that He has delivered you and given you hope and comfort. And we'll see you next time.